Welcome to part 3 of my return to Dudley Castle. In this final episode, Amy takes me around the castle grounds themselves, guiding me through some of the locations most closely linked to reported paranormal activity. From shadowy corners to open spaces with long memories, this is where the stories we've been discussing throughout this series truly come to life. Okay, so you join us now in a section of the castle undercroft. Amy has been kind enough to stick around. Actually, I'm keeping her for way longer than she should be here for. But she's been so incredibly kind to have a wander around me.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no
Amy.
problem.
And give us a description where we are and what we're going to be doing here.
We're actually in what they call Castle Creatures, which is the old visitor centre. It's part of the undercroft, so it's cellarage. So undercrofts are above ground storage areas,
Okay.
which is where we were before. This one is directly under, we're under the antechamber at the moment, but it runs right under the castle, the medieval castle.
Okay.
It is also classed as one of the most haunted areas.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in the what we call the vestibule. So this is the entrance.
Yeah.
And we're looking at our four fathers of the castle. So we've got models of Anscorth of Piccany, the very first Norman lord, Roger de Sunry II, who is quite important because he actually founded the priory. He also founded the marketplace.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that Dudley has got one of the oldest markets in Europe.
Again, didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
that wasn't a creaking door from spirits. That was a creaking door because it's extremely windy.
And obviously, one of my favourite barons, John Sutton VI, who was the guy I told you about.
Yeah.
Very good diplomat, awful soldier. That was human. And we've got Sir John Dudley, who is the most famous baron. He was Duke of Northumberland, and it was his plot that put Lady Jane Grey on the throne of England for 9 days.
Fascinating characters. And you've got, obviously, the dates here. So what do the dates represent? Do these represent their lifespans?
No, these actually represent when they took the barony.
Okay.
So 1070 for Anscorth to approximately 1080.
Okay.
We know by 1086, because of the Doomsday Book, which we are in, that his son was in charge of his land. So by that time, he passed away, he'd gone. 1235 is when Roger took over to 1272. He was killed in a hunting accident at Pensnet.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Pensnet, Wolverhampton.
Pensnet.
Well, yeah, Pensnet. Yeah.
Because Pensnet was a chase.
Right, okay.
It was the hunting ground for the barons of Dudley, and it's where Elizabeth I went hunting when she stayed here at the castle in 1575.
In Pensnet, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
And John Sutton, longest serving baron. So he was baron from 1422 to 1487. He was actually born in 1401.
Okay.
He was buried at Dudley Priory. And he was given quite a big, the Pope gave a 2-day grace. You had to say prayers for him.
An important guy.
Very important. And underrated in English history. And of course, John Dudley, he was here from 1537 to 1553. He was executed in August 1553. And he basically conned the castle out of his cousin. as I'd said, he basically arranged a mortgage on the castle. The Baron then defaulted on the mortgage.
And he booted him out.
He basically went, out, it's mine now.
Right, nice guy.
Yeah. But John Dudley is probably our most important Baron because he was so... He'd done the Sharrington Range, things like that. He built that. He was quite important to Dudley Castle.
Okay, where are we going to move to now?
I think we go through here. This is what we... If your visitors have ever been to Dudley Castle, done investigations, they would have been in this room. This is the old Zodiac room.
Okay.
And now we call it the Monopoly room. But it has got a fantastic model of what the castle would have looked like.
And it is spectacular. I've got to say, it is.
So this is one of the haunted areas of the castle. People often get quite scared in here, especially when it's dark.
Okay.
I mean, I will openly say I don't like being in here on my own.
And this is the room?
No, it's the back room.
It's the back room that we...
I can manage this room because the door... I think the problem with this place is you're quite a way away from the doors when you're getting further in.
Yeah.
This is part of the Tudor Palace.
Okay.
And a lot of servants would have been mowing about in this area.
Yeah.
And people have picked up on keys, they've picked up on cold spots. They've also, and I'm not a big believer in...
orbs? Orbs, okay.
No, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm not a big believer in orbs at all, because you take a picture in here, you'll see thousands of orbs because of the dust.
Yeah.
But the one I really did spark my interest is we were in the corridor there, and I was walking along, and there was a light picked up on someone's phone, and it was about head high, about this high, halfway, 3 or 4 feet off, 5 or 6 feet off the ground. And I was like, that's interesting, because if that is spirit, it's going to be little.
Yeah.
And then I figured it out because in the back wall you'll see the corbels, which are stones, which jut out, and it's the floor level.
Yeah.
So we're actually walking between floors here.
Right, okay.
So if we move into the corridor...
Yeah, sure. There's also some interesting visitors here, isn't there? We've got bats.
We've got bats, we've got mice, we've got the rats.
Wow.
Black rats. All these things would have been in castles. Black rats are our native rat, and they are blamed for the bubonic plague, but it wasn't actually the rats, it was the fleas that were on the rats that caused the problem.
Right.
So the rats would have been on your table in the kitchen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so you'd have had them all through the places. Sorry, that's sound effects.
Yeah, we do have sound effects. So if you were listening to you were hearing farm animals, those were actually sound effects.
One female rat can have up to 12 babies every 22 days, 23 days. So they reckon for every one human, there's about 6 to 7 rats.
And I'm actually watching these black rats climbing the grill on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So they could literally get...
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So the fleas would bite the rat and the rat would die. And the fleas then needed to get another source of food.
Okay.
Their food was blood. So humans, nice and warm, the flea would jump onto the human, bite the human, and that's how the plague spread.
Wow, okay.
So it wasn't actually their fault.
Rats get a bad rap.
And these are the corbels.
Oh, yeah, you can really see that.
So that's the level of the floor. So that orb came that way.
Oh, I can see what you mean about the height of it now.
So that's the top of the head. If
Yeah.
that is spirit, it's going to be the top of the head. Like I say, I'm not a big fan, but that one did interest me because it went in a direct line.
Yeah.
Dust animals, it'd skip about, but this went in a direct line as if it was walking towards us.
Yeah. Fascinating.
So we're still here, we're still in the Tudor part of the building.
Okay.
And people do get horrible feelings in this part. They do feel sick and things like that. This is this archway here. We've got, actually I should point this out, this is a memorial because we've had both Queen Elizabeth's visit. So we had Elizabeth I on the 11th of August 1575, and then Queen Elizabeth Queen Elizabeth II visited us in June.
That is fantastic.
1994. She actually opened this area when it was the visitor centre. So when you get to this archway, you're going to travel back 200 years without the aid of a TARDIS, because you're going from Tudor to medieval.
Wow.
So this is where John Dudley got to. This is where his building stops and the medieval building starts.
Okay.
The Undercroft, as I said to you earlier, is possibly the oldest surviving complete room of the castle. The Undercroft, where we were before, predates the keep.
Wow. I mean, the wall itself is so thick, it's huge.
Yeah. The thing was, those lovely Victorians who did a lot of damage to places like castles, they bashed through walls up here because there was a rumour locally that there was treasure being
so they're going to ransack the building to
try and ransack it. Yeah. So they bashed through a lot of the walls, including this one.
Right, okay.
So again, in here, you're coming through to, and that's that ramp I was telling you about where I saw the little girl.
Right, okay. So
I've not only seen her here, there was a hooded figure stood in the corner. I've seen that a couple of times. So this is possibly one of the more haunted areas. And we get a lot of mediums picking up on children. And children would have been in this area.
Yeah.
Servants started here quite young.
Yeah. Right, okay, so you join us back. Where are we going now,
We're just
Amy?
going up to the ramp,
okay.
to the back room.
Fantastic.
So this room is the room I really, really don't like. I don't know what it is about this room, but it always gives me the creeps when I'm in here. It's not the nicest of rooms.
Now, again, it's bright and it's airy. For someone just walking in here, it's bright, it's airy, it's...
I don't know what it is with this room. I think there's just something about it. I think because of having the little passageway there and you're far away from the doors...
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Because if something happened, it'd be hard to get out.
Right, okay, so...
But I've had experiences in this room. I mean, children have been... ghost groups will tell you, when I used to do the ghost nights, they'd come in this room and I wouldn't come in.
Okay.
I would not come in. It took a lot for me to come in here.
Okay.
And I'd like to say it's one of those rooms there.
It's getting to you now. Yeah, I can see it's getting to you now. Actually getting to you now.
I do not like it.
I mean, a quick description of the room. I will take a few photos, but you're talking, what, 25, 30 feet square, something like that. It is imposing. It's bare stone walls, lots of pictures of animals, lots of information about the animals, but yeah, I can imagine.
See, I have to stand with my back towards...
Right,
things.
it's really... Yeah, okay. And we've got the bats through there.
Yeah, we have. But that's the old castle gift shop. And that's where I was saying earlier, there was a lot of paranormal activity and poltergeist activity was quite evident in there. Yeah.
Okay. Right, where do you want to move on to next?
Shall we go through the back?
You sure?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'm just going to put this on pause and I'll take a quick photo.
This is going to be really dark, I'm afraid, because of our bats.
Okay.
So this is the old castle shop. And like I say, if any of you, your audience have watched The Most Haunted from Dudley Castle from 2003, it was the very first live they actually came from here.
Yeah.
This area was quite prominent in it.
Okay.
Because Derek Okura came in here and they did see the top of a head going down behind some shelves.
Yeah.
And he picked up on the name Alice. I've got to admit, I'm not a big Derek Okura fan, but that name is relevant to the castle.
Right, okay.
So, and she was... and he also picked up on one of the most famous ghost stories about this area, because back in the 80s, the castle was holding a medieval festival.
Right.
And there was a fancy dress
Okay.
It was a fancy dress competition. And the lady who won it looked like nobody else. She was in sackcloth. She had sackcloth shoes, dirty, hair bedraggled. They went to give the prize to her and she disappeared and nobody could find her.
Yeah.
There was security on the gate. Nobody had left. So they didn't know where she was. And then Derek Okora picked up on this spirit who literally said, I'm glad I won the prize. So, but
Now,
the sceptic in me says,
yeah,
did he do a little bit of fishing on the internet? Because that is one of the most
prominent stories.
ghost
It really is, yeah.
of the castle. Or did he actually pick up on that? But he did give the name Alice, and not a lot of people, because she was a baroness here.
Yeah.
But she was married into the family.
Okay.
And with the barons and the baronesses, a lot of people wouldn't go back that far.
Right,
It was
okay.
Roger II, who's busted down there.
Yeah.
It was his mum.
I mean, it's a bit of a strange room. Very atmospheric. Huge
The thing with
archway.
this room now, because it's the back room, it is quite imposing because it's dark.
Yeah.
When it was the castle shop, it was quite light and airy. It was a massive room, and you'd have all stock here. Stock did get moved about.
Right, okay.
100%, and staff did have experiences in here.
Yeah.
You know, people who saw things, people witnessed the keychain racking going across the build from this area here, come out there and across there.
So how long has this been here?
The bats?
Yeah.
2014.
And then the shop has obviously moved to its...
The shop was moved.
Yeah.
The shop disbanded and moved out.
Right, okay.
So we could put the bats in.
Right, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Where are we going to go to now?
I think we'll go down to the cottage and the warder's arch.
Okay. Right, okay, so we are back outside now, and where are we, Amy?
We're at the main gateway now. This is the triple gate.
Okay.
This is a mishmash of time.
Right.
Okay, and I said to you earlier about archaeologists have a special word called features.
Yeah.
So when they can't explain something, it's a feature.
It's a feature.
And this gateway is actually full of features. So the two inner walls,
Right.
believe it or not, are older than the two gateways.
Okay.
So at one point this had 6 defences to it. So you had your moat, obviously, then your drawbridge. Then you had, behind the drawbridge was a pit.
Okay.
So our drawbridge was strange because it was your uppy downy. It was one that you could literally lift up and take away.
Right, okay.
Okay, but it would cover the pit. So if you were inviting people in,
Yeah.
they could come over the pit.
Okay.
And then you've got your portcullis backed up by 2 big oak doors, and the same where we stood just here. But this gateway, there's 2 outer walls are actually older than the 2 portcullis gates.
Right.
So they are remains of possibly the second castle. I mean, if you have a look, we've also got these walls here, which are probably where they started to rebuild and then thought, no, we'll do it a different way.
Right, okay.
And left it. And then in the roof, you can't see it now because of this scaffolding. There is the remains of the portcullis, but another interesting one is this doorway here. And we don't know what that's for.
Right, okay. Stepping back a little bit, I noticed this, and I think this was what you were saying about this one defence that may have come down here.
That's the portcullis.
That would have been the location of the
No, the murder hole is actually in the middle.
Right.
If I took this down.
So you were trapped between there and there. Okay.
So if you were not an invited guest, shall we say, you'd fight your way up the hill, get to here, and
they'd leave that open.
drawbridge would be wide open. Portcullis would be wide open. As soon as you made a play for that courtyard, that would drop.
Yeah.
And then you turn to run back, and then that would drop.
And they're going to drop
then
all sorts of nasties.
Yeah. You're literally trapped in here, like rats in a trap.
Yeah.
And like I say, we don't know what this is for. It's whether it the remains of a doorway, or it could be what they called a porter's window. So you could literally, the gatekeeper would be to the side, and you could literally look through there and see who's in the gateway.
Right, okay.
But we're not 100% sure, and that's the whole thing with Dudley Castle. And it's one of the reasons I think people should visit. It is a mishmash of time. You go from Norman to medieval to Tudor to the Civil War.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Again, just looking at those four figures in the, I can't remember the name of the room that we were in.
Yeah, the vestibule.
Yeah. As you say, the span of time that goes over. And this is so atmospheric. This is amazing.
Well, the triple gateway, unfortunately, was part of the slighting. But upstairs, where we see now, there was probably a platform, like a balcony, with what they call machicolations in. So there would be holes, so you could drop things through. As you walked in, they'd be dropping things on you.
Right, okay.
And the drawbridge, when we did the archaeology digs, we didn't actually know where the point of the plinth for the drawbridge, where it came down to, but we found it, and it was just there where the elephant statue is.
Yeah, okay.
And I said about the tunnel.
Yeah.
Tunnel runs under here.
Oh, right, okay.
So it runs between these two were Barbican towers. So they're big round towers that would stretch right the way up, possibly to where the stone is, just up there.
Yeah.
And you'd fill them with your archers. And one of the brilliant features, if we just go here, and if you get a photo of it to show your listeners, this is an arrow slit. You remember I said the ground had been raised up?
Yeah.
Right, they ain't going to shoot at your ankles.
No, so how deep are we talking?
About 150 foot, we reckon, over the years.
150 feet?
Yeah, over the years. You can see the steps that would have gone up, and these would have been filled with your archers to protect your gate.
That's astonishing. That's astonishing. Yeah, we'll get some photos of that in a sec. That is, I cannot believe how, as you say, you're not going to have an archer that's firing at that on the floor. So 150 feet.
Roughly 150 feet. So we're going to head down now to the cottage, because the cottage has one of the more macabre stories to it, and a lot of people will know about the cottage. And then we've got the Warder's Arch, which is where the drummer was shot.
And again, we still don't know who fired that shot. Really.
No, not he. We don't know if it was someone on our side, twitchy finger, or someone on his side.
Yeah.
Plain daylight, the man, and just fired. Or didn't hear the drum, because the drum would have called for a truce. And
someone ignored it.
And someone totally ignored it and just fired. But the guy was shot with probably the worst weapon ever invented, which was the musket. So inaccurate. And he was felled by that at that distance.
Wow.
So
we're walking past the reptiles. We're walking past our little friends here.
Meerkats.
The meerkats. And again, you kind of get a sense, when you do come here to visit, you kind of get a sense as you're walking up this section, just how imposing all of this would have been. You've got the cannons sat at the top.
Yeah, the cannons are actually Russian.
Right, okay.
From the Sevastopol siege during the Crimean War. The then Earl of Dudley was actually a great supporter of that war. He'd sent ships out with food and clothing for the troops, and then of course he, as a reward, Queen Victoria was like, eager, mate, have 2 cannons, because there was 400 cannons of those naval cannons that were taken during that battle. Most of them, some of them were given out to places like Dudley Castle, Ludlow, as a sort of thank you for your support of the war, and the rest were melted down and made the Victoria Cross.
Yeah. Okay, what's the history of this place?
The cottage, a lot of people claim it's Victorian. It isn't actually. It goes back way before. Because we have got the first print of Dudley Castle from the 1690s, and the cottage is actually on it, but it's not a cottage at the time, it's a barn, and it's actually part of two. It was in an L shape. And if you look, the wall juts out, so the second cottage would have run straight down.
Yeah.
The cottage became home to the castle groundskeepers after the castle was left in 1750. And a family came to Dudley. This is local legend, I suppose. A family came to Dudley with two daughters. And the one daughter got pregnant out of wedlock. Now, even in the 1800s, here in Dudley, they do that. When her father found out, he didn't throw her out or anything. He simply dragged her into the brick bathhouse to the side and slit her throat. And she was murdered. People often report quite a negative feeling in there. And she has been seen in the bathroom area, rocking backwards and forwards. The guy apparently, again this is local legend I suppose, went and hung himself up in the top room, and people have seen the image of a bald man in that area, gazing out, quite an angry looking man. The image apparently has been photographed, but I've never ever found the photograph. Now you could say to me, well, come off it, you could be staff in there. The actual cottage was only restored in 2013. Top floor actually collapsed in the mid 1980s, sorry, and for 30 years it was just a derelict building.
I mean, you would not guess that kind of trauma has took place in this. I will take a photo of this. It just looks like an absolutely lovely little country cottage.
But that image of that man was seen all through the 1980s, 1990s and early 2000s.
Right, okay.
So there was no way that, because like I say, the floor collapsed and it was only redone in 2013. This is now home to our curators, our bosses of the zoo. So if you do come to the zoo and see an angry looking bald man, that's probably my boss, to be fair. But like I say, the cottage is mentioned in Eli Blewett's book. He was the first to describe the Black Country as the Black Country.
Yeah.
Eli Blewett wrote the book in the 1800s. He was an American travel writer, basically, and very well known in America. And he visited Dudley Castle, and he mentions the cottage and two old people living in the cottage with their daughter, who were the groundskeepers.
Yeah.
They made him tea before taking him up to the castle.
Okay.
And to have that sort of that it's mentioned is amazing.
Yeah.
When you're doing, we call this Hatchett's cottage because this is where Harry Hatch lived, the first. Yeah, the first head keeper.
The cheetah.
And the cheetah would have been buried over in that area. Yeah, so we call it Hatch. This corner, because it's quite a steep corner, as you know. Yeah. We call it Hatchett's Corner.
That's fantastic. So this is where that cheetah would have been roaming around and exercising?
He exercised it all through. He used to bring it out for dignitaries to stroke and stuff like that. But he raised many animals. You can see all the outbuildings, but he would have raised many animals in this.
That's stunning. Absolutely fantastic. Right, where are we off to next?
We'll go to the Warden's Art, unless, do you want to see the entrance to a tunnel?
Oh, that would be fantastic.
So not many people get to see this. So it is one of the off-lot area.
I mean, it's a beautiful cottage.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I wouldn't want to live there. Definitely wouldn't want to live in it, but yeah.
Again, it just looks like your little, typical, beautiful English country cottage. Oh, the nice pumpkins outside as well.
Yeah, we're getting ready for Halloween, obviously. But just up here, one of the secret areas, I suppose you'd say, is the entrance to the tunnel.
And is this where Richard Felix's son went down? Okay. So roughly how far are you thinking that this would stretch?
It originally would have stretched right over to the little round Eastwatch Tower.
But as you say, there was a collapse.
About halfway through.
Yeah.
when they put the steps in.
That is fantastic.
And local legend says that a worker was killed underneath.
Right, okay.
So whether that was true, I don't know, but that was the local legend.
That's brilliant. Thank you
But
so much
there
for
you
showing
go.
me that. That is... Right, we're sat on a bench now, and where are we?
We're outside the Warden's Arch.
Okay.
Or some people might have heard of this as the Drummer Boy Archway.
Right.
As I explained earlier, drummer boys didn't really exist. They were trusted soldiers, they were men.
Yeah.
They were given a message, and beating the drum should have called for a ceasefire between two opposing sides.
Yeah.
So their story, because there was two, their story connects with the Grey Lady story, because they were bringing the message up about her funeral.
Right.
I'll just explain about the arch itself. This arch was only put on because of Queen Elizabeth I. It was to make her entry into the castle look a little bit grander.
Okay. So they built all of this for that?
Yeah, just for that. Just to make her... The thing was, the Earl of Dudley, the Baron of Dudley at the time, got wind that she was staying here, coming here.
Right.
And the castle was in, at that time, a bit of a state of disrepair. So just to make it look a little bit nicer, he put on this new archway.
Right.
Okay, and when she came, she was here, look at the archway, built it all for you. And she was like, yeah, look at your castle, I'm off. And she literally stayed one night and left. But she probably was diverted here because there was an outbreak. She was on her progress and there was an outbreak of smallpox. So she was probably diverted here because of this outbreak of smallpox. But the archway has so many legends attached to it. People have often seen hooded figures coming through. This would have been the main entry into the castle. So, as I said to you, the monks from the priory, which were Cluniac monks and black-robed monks, would have been here daily. They'd come to take the church services. They'd have also come up here as well to teach the children of the Baron.
So again, there was a close relationship.
Very close. And I mean, the stone, you can see how much stone is here. So that stone type theory of them coming daily.
Yeah.
You know, but the main ghost story around the archway is that of the drummer.
You also mentioned that the stone that built the cottage would have come from
the two ruined parts of it would have come from the two ruined towers of the keep.
So again, they wasted nothing.
No,
They
it's recycling.
Yeah. Right.
Even back then.
Should we move on?
Yeah. We'll go to the little it's called the East Watch Tower. And this is a little watch tower. And this is where the tramp,
okay.
Because that tunnel you've just seen was the tunnel he used.
Right, okay.
It's actually, this as well, should point out, was possibly the plague burial pits.
Right here?
Yeah. Because places like Dudley Castle relied on bringing things in. Although we were close to the canals, people would have come and brought their wares and things. They didn't want to stop that. So when the plague happened, you don't want people knowing that you've got the plague.
Right, okay.
So this was probably where they buried them. Bit of lime, bit of chalk lime on them. Bodies have gone.
So again, you dig down. Dig down deep enough here.
Yeah, well, when they did the archaeology digs, they were told not to dig too deep.
Right, okay. And again, you've got some amazing views from here.
Well, from the top of the keep, and that's the top of up there, you can see 30 miles in all directions. Now, when you get to the top of Dudley Castle Keep, your next highest point to land, if you head west, is in Russia, to the Urals.
Wow.
So you're at one of the highest points, not only in England, but in Europe.
Again, that answers my question when I was saying about driving up here, how far you could... I mean, I'm looking out here and...
Dudley Castle was close to the Welsh marshes. That was what John Dudley really wanted the castle for, even though it was the ancestral barony home. It's close to the Welsh marshes. If Edward VI had have lived, took over Perry on his own, his plan was to retire here, Constable of the Welsh marshes.
Right, okay.
Because it's, I mean, that's why Dudley Castle was built. It was part of that chain to sort of protect from the Welsh invasions. And I said to you earlier, if one of those invasions by Glyn Williams had have worked, Dudley Castle would have been a Welsh castle.
Wow. Again, we spoke about that little twist and turn of fate in history that would have put an entire different picture.
Yeah. So this is the little watchtower. So he would have literally set up
his little business in
there, a little cobbling business, and he would come and go through the tunnel.
Unbelievable. And he would have travelled down into the town.
Yeah. Picked up his shoes for mending, then brought them back.
That's fantastic.
Mended them. But whether he was part of this coin forging gang, up for discussion. So we were approaching the keep, and the cobbles that we're walking on, they were put in the 1800s.
Right.
We did have a wet moat.
Yeah.
So the wet moat would have come in and surrounded the keep. So the keep looked like an island. And the best example I can give you is to look at Nunney Castle in Somerset.
Right.
That castle used our castle as a sort of
blueprint.
So the keep is the third one, as I said earlier, to be on site. Possibly the third one.
I mean, it's a formidable building.
Yeah, I mean, the walls are about 8 to 9 metres thick.
Wow.
You can see, I mean, anyone who's visited here, the keep is iconic.
Yeah.
It's what you think of Dudley, you think of that building. And it would have housed, originally in the Mott and Bailey, the wooden castle, quite possibly Anne Scuff would have lived here. We know there was a manor house, so the majority of the family would have lived, the Baron and his main family would have lived in the manor house, and the constable of the castle, who was in charge when the Baron wasn't here, would have lived in the keep.
It's the engineering as well. It's where you quarry this amount of stone from and bring it here.
The stone is from Much Wenlock.
Right, okay.
Yeah, your local Bagridge stone would have been used as well.
Bagridge?
Yeah.
By Himley? Yeah, okay.
But most of the stone is like, I say, the Much Wenlock series.
Yeah.
And it's from Silurian period. So even before the castle, thousands and millions of years ago, Dudley was a wall. This has been formed over thousands and millions of years.
Again, fascinating, absolutely.
And you do have around, if you look at some of the stone, there is fossils in the stones.
Oh, yeah. They say a lot of the limestone that a lot of the banks and stuff were built from. If you look closely, you can see.
You can see fossils in the stones. And Dudley Castle is well known for that.
Yeah.
It's well known. We have the Dudley Bug, obviously, the trilobite.
Right.
And there is some fossils that are here on site, especially in the cavern behind the chairlift.
Yeah.
That you don't find anywhere else in the world.
Wow. Okay, so as you can probably hear, there's a lot of wind. It's very windy. You might hear there's a clanging noise. We're a little bit over the other side from that, and that is the flag that's flapping like an absolute lunatic at the moment. So we're up at the top of the keep. It's really windy.
Oh, yeah.
Iconic,
yeah. And like I say, you can see 30 miles in all directions from the top. And the next highest point to land in Europe is the Ural Mountains in Russia.
That's fantastic. So this is the scene of one of the most famous ghost sightings, isn't it?
Yeah, the top of the keep, the Allure. People have often seen, and there's people in the town as well. And in 1988 or 87, it was reported in a newspaper, in the Express and Star, that people at the event saw a hooded figure walking across the top of the walkway, I should say.
Yeah.
And who this is, we don't really know.
Yeah.
We've got an idea.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, mega windy.
In the 1400s, there's a woman apparently living in one of the houses on site.
Yeah.
Now, Dudley Castle has got lots of little round houses, you'll see. One next to the gift shop where you came in.
Yeah.
Living in there, and people believe she was a witch.
Right.
And it said that some teenagers broke in on site,
Yeah.
took her to the top of the keep and threw her off or hung her over it.
Yeah.
Because she was a witch. The other story is they broke in, went to the top of the keep and found her about to fly off to the Sabbath or whatever.
Right, okay.
And they hung her from the top. So this is who this hooded figure is supposed to be. So,
Again, we're looking down from the top of the keep onto the cannons, the iconic cannons that you can see from miles away.
Miles. And recently we've discovered that these guys are naval cannons, and they would have been used on a Russian naval ship, and they were taken during the Battle of Sebastopol. Each one has got a number. Unfortunately, the one on my left-hand side,
Yeah.
that one we can't, because of the weather and the disintegrate, we can't make out the number, but we can on the right one. And it proved that they were forged just south of St. Petersburg.
Wow.
So all the way from Russia to Dudley.
Well, it's mega windy up here. We better get back down.
Okay.
Okay, we're down from the castle keep, and where are we going to finish off?
Well,
Anna?
we're going to finish off in the Grey Lady Tavern, or Courtyard Cafe as it's today now known. But as we're walking down, the pathway here is one of the most famous sightings of the Grey Lady.
Right, okay.
So, back in the 1990s, early 2000s, there used to be the Dudley Ghost Walk
Yeah.
that went round Dudley, and people would jump out at you.
Okay.
You know, telling you different ghost stories, and there'd be people dressed up jumping out at
Yeah.
you. And they used to come up here. We had someone dressed as the Grey Lady.
Yeah.
He'd up here. And as they walk up, Grey Lady appeared.
Yeah.
And one of the members on this particular walk went, "Oh, that's very interesting, but who's the lady behind?" And there was only one lady up here.
Okay.
So we think that might be a sighting of the Grey Lady.
Okay. And it was from here as well that I'm looking over. I'm assuming that this was maybe where the photo was taken around this area.
Yeah, you see the big round window?
Yeah.
It's the doorway next to it on the left.
And that's where.
Yeah, she was taking photos from the top of the keep.
Yeah.
Just as you do. Got home, went to her husband. There's a light in one of them rooms, and he goes, "Don't be daft, there's no roof, how can there be a light on?" And then they decided to put it up on the computer, drew it in, dropped it down to the doorway, and the figure was in the doorway.
I mean, I find that even more fascinating that they've got no idea what they photographed at the time. It's only when they get it back home.
We always say on ghost nights, a good ghost group will say never take one photo. Always take a burst of photographs, because what you pick up in one, you may not pick up in the others, and that's interesting then. So we're just approaching the Grey Lady, what they used to call the Grey Lady Tavern. It was named after the Grey Lady because most of her sightings were in this area.
Okay.
So the Grey Lady Tavern, or now Courtyard Cafe, is actually the last building built on site. It was built in 1690, and it was actually a stabling block.
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
It's for horses. Guess what's been heard in there? Horses.
And people have actually heard them?
Yeah, heard the feet, the hooves, and also heard a neighing sound in there. But it was basically, this building was built just to fill a gap.
Yeah.
Because it would have been the original wall walk up to the castle.
Yeah.
So obviously where we're standing, we'd be drowned in now because we're in the moat. So like I say, it was put in just to fill the gap left by the slighting in around 1690. The Baron of Dudley then did fill in bits here and there, possibly rebuilding parts of walls and things like that. The stone is from the towers, from the 2 towers that were ruined, but there's been a lot of hauntings in here that people have, and I mean staff. I mean, one of my favourites is one of the members of staff was actually working in here, cleaning up, put all the tables, all the chairs on top of the tables to mop the floor, went to get the mop bucket, come out and all the chairs were back on the floor. So, so this area has a history of sightings and things like the paranormal things happening. If you do a ghost night up here, this is one of the areas. It's very good for things like Ouija boards.
Right, okay.
And it is intelligent. I'm not a big fan of Ouija boards, I'll be honest, because I think you've got unconscious movements.
Like, is it the ideomotor response or something like that?
Yeah, you've got, like I say, you've got unconscious movements, but things that have been picked up in here are intelligent things and things that maybe your ordinary ghost hunting visitor wouldn't actually know, so why would they push it to there?
Well, I've got to say, thank you so much,
Not
Amy,
a problem.
For taking up literally all of your day.
It's okay.
And I've just got to say that this was supposed to be Amy's day off as well, so I've dragged her in to do this. Thank you so much, Amy. Really appreciate it.
Anytime you want to come back, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Please come and visit Dudley Castle, and we look forward to you listening to this episode. Thank you again, Amy.
Not a problem.
And that brings us to the end of part 3 and the conclusion of my visit to Dudley Castle. A huge thank you to Amy for all of her time, knowledge and generosity throughout this series. I'd also like to thank all of the staff and management at Dudley Castle and Zoological Gardens for accommodating me last September and for making me feel so welcome during my visit. If you've never been, I'd highly recommend paying a visit, whether it's for the history, the wildlife, the atmosphere, or the stories that still echo throughout the grounds. Thank you once again for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe and take care.